What are you doing, boo? Oh no, booger. Hi everyone, I'm Haley. This is Bitter Kitten Crafts, and today we're going to be talking about crochet. So just to give a little intro about myself before we start, because it has been so long since I made a crochet video, I am a knitter and a crocheter, obviously, and a painter, and also a nanny, and I really like plants and true crime and tinfoil hat stuff, and I live in Washington, D.C. So today's going to be a crochet centered video. It has been a super long time since I made a crochet video, so there's kind of a lot to show, which feels really good. I wasn't sure. I was initially thinking I would kind of lump all this stuff in with a knitting video, but then it ended up being a lot, so I'm excited about that. So we can start with a project that, if you watched my last video, you saw. It is this beautiful blanket behind me. I'm gonna put some B-roll in right now so you can see all the colors in it, but it is an 11 by 11 square blanket, and it is it's crocheted in single ply acrylic from Michaels. It's like called Landscapes, the yarn, and it is really beautiful colors, really rich, vibrant, kind of stained glass type colors. But I don't know if I, now knowing what I know, would choose a single ply acrylic to make a blanket again. So I'm not necessarily going to recommend the yarn unless you're looking to make sort of maybe an accessory, although the colors are stunning. So this project, I started it in 2018, and I finished all the squares in like 2018, 2019, put it in a trash bag, moved I think 4 times. Finally, when I was really settled into this current apartment in DC where I live, I took it out of the bag, laid it all out on the ground, realized I had a king size blanket unassembled sitting in this trash bag for like literally 3 years. So I decided it was finally time to give it the light of day and sew it together. So in the middle of the last video, I was sewing it together. And now, fast forward, I've sewn it together. I use it every day. I actually have put it in the industrial washing machine in the basement of my building just to kind of see like what would happen. It did hold up okay. It didn't really pill that much. So that is actually, I was literally shocked. I thought I was going to destroy it, but it is holding up pretty well, which I'm really, really happy about. So happy about this blanket that I started another blanket, which you can see my squares behind me. So I have 31 so far. I have 31 squares so far, and I'm hoping to make 64. So this is my next crochet blanket, and these are all sock yarn held double. So each square is about 50 grams. Each square is 11 rows on an H hook, and it's just all either 80-20 or 75-25 sock yarn, self-striping. This is like a Felice color held double with itself, which makes the squares 50 grams. So I went through a moment in my life where I really genuinely thought I was gonna knit socks and that was gonna be my thing. And I knit, I think 4 pairs, have never knit another pair again. But during that time, there was a yarn store, like peak of the pandemic, that went out of business near me, and they were selling all of their yarn for 75% off. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be like the sock knitter TM. Like that's my new personality. Obviously that didn't work out, but I ended up with so much stock yarn in my stash that I have enough to make an entire king size blanket. So a lot of this yarn is like clearance Patons Croy, Lion Brand Sock Ease, which they don't even make anymore really, random self-striping skeins from the Creative Reuse Center near me. So at the end, this blanket will weigh 3,200 grams, hopefully making a huge dent in my stash. So far, each color, I only have 4 of each color because, like 50 grams, and I had 2 balls of each yarn pretty much, or I held them double like this one. So I will have a lot of different colors, and I think it'll be fun. Most of the colors are neutrals or sort of darks, but there are like a couple sore thumbs that I hate that I might if I have enough yarn, like redo, because this one is literally hideous. I don't know, compared to this one, you know, like a nice muted brown. So we'll see. But I am really enjoying making them. Each one takes about 2 hours. So this 31 here, this is like over a week's worth of work, you know, like literally if I knitted or crocheted all of them just in a week. Which obviously I do other stuff. I watch babies, I do other things. So I don't really anticipate finishing this project for 6 months probably, not counting sewing it together, which will take another probably week or two. But I'm really excited to have this. I've never made a wool blanket before. All of the blankets I've ever made, which is about like 10, they're all acrylic, or I have one cotton, but I think this will be the nicest one I've ever made, despite some of the colors. So we'll have to see about the color situation, but I am really happy with most of them. This one's one of my favorites. This is not. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out together. A lot of them are single skeins, but I don't know. I think it'll be really fun. It's a great way to use in my stash. It feels really good to knock out this much yarn. And I also have, this is my little November square. I've been trying to do 2 squares to 4 squares a month, depending on the month. But right now, obviously you can see I haven't gotten much done in November because it's holiday season, gift making season. Haven't gotten much done on the blanket front in November, but that's okay. So moving on to my next WIP, which is gift related. It is like late November, so it's Christmas over here in this corner of the world. I've got my Grinch mug, I've got my gifts, and I've got another holiday project that I'm going to show you. So it's Christmas over here. I have my cheese advent calendar from Aldi. I'm like anxiously waiting December 1st so that I can eat my first piece of cheese. So it's Christmas. It's Christmas if you ask me. Okay, so moving on to my next WIP. Like I said, it's Christmas over here. It's Christmas. I am starting Christmas crochet, and I'm starting it with these 2 pouches. So this is like, I'm like right in the middle of this project, so it does not look like that much right now. Like admittedly, it's like sort of atrocious looking right now, but I'm still gonna show it because we're all about honesty around here. So this is going to be 2 granny square pouches. So this is going to be one, folds like this, and I'm going to seam up the sides. This is going to be the other one. I'm thinking like makeup pouch kind of vibe. It's just literally 8 granny squares sewn together. And it's using, if you remember, AC Moore had Nicole Miller yarn. It was like little remnants of yarn. So I started out with 10 of these, and I only have 3 left plus this lump. And some of them were blue and purple, and some of them were orange. So I kind of mixed everything together, and I'm just making these little pouches. I'm intending to put a zipper across the top, stitch up the sides, and then I'm going to put in a lining. So this is just random cotton remnant from Joann. It's like sparkly, kind of. I'm not sure if it reads on camera, but it's, the reason I picked it is because the back is sort of dark and cool looking also. So that way when you put it against the squares, it doesn't look stark white or really look super obvious that there's a lining. And then on the inside, it'll be this cool galaxy. So I think these will be nice gifts. Yeah, like a makeup pouch or something of that nature. I might keep this one just because I love the orange. I love the orange. I don't know. I have a hard time giving stuff away. But this one has a specific intended recipient, and I think they'll look really neat when they're done. Obviously, like I said right now, they do not look very neat. They look messy, and they are halfway done. So stay tuned to see the finished object because it will look a lot less sloppy. So those are my crochet WIPs. Obviously one of them is much longer term. One of them is intended to be finished in the next month, but I have a lot more finished stuff than I have WIPs, which is exciting. So I'll move on to my first bag. So this is a backpack. that I made, and I'm actually super happy with it. I didn't use a pattern, but I did make granny squares because this is Granny Square Palooza. Literally, what else is new? I lined this bag. So this is the really special thing about this bag. This is, I think it's 18 granny squares, and I'll put up like the little diagram here of how I laid out my squares. But this is like 4 on the front, and then I crocheted up a part where the strap can go for a hook. But really it's just like 4 on the back, 4 on the front, 4 for the flap, and then 6 going around the bottom to make it a box bottom. So yeah, I lined this, I put in a drawstring. I spent so much time perfecting this project, and it was so worth it. So also something special is this is K Facet fabric, which I found at the Creative Reuse store. This is, if you are a knitter, you know that name. They are a knitwear designer, and they have really, really cool intarsia patterns, but they also have beautiful quilting fabric. So keep an eye out for that, because I love these giant flowers. And then I have sloths, because I want to put sloths in everything I make. I love this fabric. And then the rest is just purple. But what I did is I quilted each square. So I sewed in, you can kind of see my stitching is like a little bit not neat right there, but don't look at that. So I sewed in the big pieces of fabric, and then I quilted along each square with like hand stitching. So that way the lining would stick to the outside, and that way the cotton wouldn't stretch, because I really want to be able to use this backpack. And I know, and you know, if you're an experienced crocheter, that cotton grows and stretches and doesn't really stay in its shape that you initially make it. So these are all cotton scraps. You can see each square is actually different, and some of it is sugar and cream, some of it is random Michaels brand cotton. I don't know, some of it is like the Lion brand Re-Up cotton. That's what that purple is, that's in a lot of the squares. This is just, I have a big Ziploc of like random cotton scraps, and that's what this was. And I have enough actually to make a warm toned backpack, which I think I'm also gonna do, just of similar, like the exact same pattern, but like all my red and pink and yellow and orange scraps instead of purples and blues. But this was a labor of love, and this is just like a crochet chain that I held 2 of the strands together and just crocheted a chain that was long enough. This took forever. This was like my main crochet project of 2023. It took forever. So worth it though. Would absolutely make another. So my intention is not to like release a pattern or anything, but I kind of also want to make like a YouTube video about it. But first I would have to make all 18 squares. So that might come maybe like in a long time. But yeah, I'm really, really, really happy about this project. It is a useful wearable backpack, and I have used it and worn it. I'm planning to bring it on my Thanksgiving trip here next week. And yeah, I'm really happy. The only thing that I think I'm going to go back and add is like another piece of quilting cotton with like a pocket like right here for my phone. But other than that, this is like one of the things I put the most detail in a long time, and I'm really, really happy I did that, even though it took forever. It was so worth it. So yeah, that's my crochet backpack. So let's show my other bag, which if you watched again my last YouTube video about crochet, you will see this bag in square form, and now it is a completed bag, which is exciting. Nothing really crazy. This is just 14 granny squares stitched together, same as the last sort of idea. So like we are really pro granny square on this channel, like the most pro granny square person ever, because look at them, they look so cute and chintzy. I love it. So this is like 4, 8 squares and then 6 around the bottom, so it's 14 squares. And then I just did like some triple crochets to make this edging, and triple crochets to make the strap. And I did knot the straps together so it can be kind of worn over the shoulder, because Otherwise they will stretch. This is Caron Cotton Cakes yarn. It is just like the rainbow shade, and this was one entire skein. So I ended up making 14 squares only because I had made 13, which is a different structure of granny square bag, and then I had enough left to make a 14th, and I was like, I don't want particularly these scraps lingering around. So I just made another and structured the bag a little differently. I brought this bag to the beach this summer and it worked really well. You know, since there's holes, no sand stays in it, which is awesome. But you can also just make like a market bag like this. This is not like an original idea of mine in any capacity, but it is just a cute little thing. So I have two more projects. One is another huge FO, and then one is a Christmas project. So let's start with the big FO because I am so happy with this. So this is my rug. So it's giant. This is a triple crochet rug made of bed sheets. So this took 3 bed sheets. I stripped them like this, which it's like 1 inch, and I'm using a size P hook, and all I did was just triple crochet in a circle, where you increase 1, so like you crochet a circle and then you crochet 2 in every stitch, and the next row you crochet 2 and then 1 and then 2, 1. The next row it's like 2, 2, 2, 2. The next row 2, 3, etc., etc. And that's how you get a flat circle. I don't know, I'm sorry if that was confusing. But that's how you get a flat circle. And I used 3 twin or double-sized bed sheets. I could have made another couple rows, but they wouldn't have all been matching, and I wanted it to be concentric circles. So I did stick to not using up the rest of this or all my white. But I really, really like scrap rugs. This is not my first one I've made. I'll put a picture in actually of the biggest one I've made. This is a little bit smaller, but it is the same number of rows. So I think once it's kind of stepped on more and used more, it will like stretch to its full form. This bed sheet is like a vintage one. It's really cute. It's like pink and green and like little zigzaggy designs and berries and stuff, which I love. My goal is to make a third. So I have a bunch of scrap strips from Jelly Rolls that, as with everything else, has been sitting for sort of a while, but my goal was to make 3 and kind of stagger them in the middle of my bedroom floor. And I don't know, I think it looks cute. It's very bright and colorful, which I love. But this is my rug. There isn't too much to say about it other than that it's machine washable and my cat loves it, and it's just triple crochet. If you have bed sheets that you don't use or you don't want, definitely use them to do this, because this was such a great use of fabric. It went by really fast. Yeah, like no complaints really. I watched JFK, which is a 3.5 hour long like conspiracy theory JFK John F. Kennedy's assassination movie while I was finishing this, and it really made it fly. So if you have any other movies that are like that you know of, please comment and let me know, because I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, so this has been living on my bedroom floor, and I'm going to start a third one after I finish my gift knits for the year. Like I said, it's Christmas around here. I am not holding back in my Christmas prep, so that means that during like what most people would consider Halloween season, I was working on a Christmas garland for the banister in my house. And I finished it, so I wanted to show it here. These are, oh, it's so tangled. Okay. These are made with Lily Sugar and Cream Christmas edition yarn, which I had for sort of a while. I literally did not know what to do with it because it is cotton, so I didn't want to make like a stocking or something. But these granny square stars, I found them on Pinterest. They're really easy. It's just that you start each square or each star with 5 points, and obviously instead of 4, and then you do like some triple crochets. So I made mine super pointy, and nice and crisp with Stiffy. So if you're like me, that made you giggle. The name of this stuff is Stiffy. It is a fabric stiffener that I got at Joann, and it actually really, really worked. I was frankly shocked. It really, really worked. So the way that you use it is that you basically block your shapes with this. So you put it in a bowl and then you dip each piece into it, and then I use like a trash bag. You set them out to dry, and when they dry stiff. So I was able to shape like the points of all my stars into like a really nice crispy star, and they don't like bend. Even when I mess with it, it stays in its shape. So this is something I would highly recommend. I think I'm gonna make some like plant coasters with the rest of this stuff because I have a lot left. You can water it down. If you don't water it down, it becomes like Mod Podge, like shiny and like hard. So I would recommend kind of diluting it like maybe half. But other than that, I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. This is just like on a crochet chain that I just used the same hook to just make a chain so that they could hang. But this project was a success, which I wasn't confident it would be when I picked up this. But I'll try to find the Pinterest pattern and link it below that I just used to make the stars, because these were super easy. They're really cute. And I made 12 and then I strung them on here, and now it's really tangled. But that's that. This was a great Christmas project. I had my mom request for me to make her some. So I think I'm gonna make a couple more stars too to kind of use as gift tags, because that's cute. I love how sharp the points of my stars ended up with this fabric softener. They're really crisp, which is so nice. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with them. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully be back more promptly with my next crochet video.